often always see that on Calyrex Shadow Rider as well, but we see it on Terrapagos teams too. We sometimes see it on Calyrex Ice Rider teams. So in theory, there's going to be a really good matchup.
Now, you just saw me in that last clip hitting a crucial KO in my stream match. I'm not gonna lie, I was ready to pop off, right? But then I thought, wait, hold on a second. I already basically won here. Let me just like keep it calm and collected. I want to present myself as this timid Asian boy who's good at the game but also very fun. I like the contradiction of that. A little bit of, ooh, I ate that. But yeah, popping off, what a term that we have always talked about in the Pokemon competitive community. I think it's something that people often discuss, but we never come to a consensus on this act. In this video, I want to dive into the topic of, are we allowed to pop off, and under what context, with nuance, under what intention is popping off okay? I know, we've all spent tons of money. We have prepped a lot. You're like 5 rounds deep into your Swiss, and then suddenly you crit someone. Suddenly you dodge a crucial move. Suddenly you make a hard read onto your opponent and you want to celebrate. I mean, who doesn't want to celebrate? Some say popping off is a well-earned moment. Same time, it could be seen as unsportsmanlike, maybe even like a little bit cringy. We're gonna dive into the nuance. We're gonna dive into the context, the content, the intention, and see, are you actually giving us a good show, or are you just being a little bit unaware of the social cues? First of all, after this introduction, a little fun tier list. I will be ranking some of the most memorable moments, in my opinion, that's my opinion, of the 2024 and 2025 season. That being because I only started playing in 2024 season. I get a lot of those emotions firsthand. And then we're going to move on to the psychological part of popping off. We're going to do a little bit of academic research. Now, it's not going to be super intelligent. I want some backup for this video to discuss the difference between on-stream and off-stream pop-off, dissect the nuance, and I feel like as I yap, we will slowly figure that out. Last but not least, I want to do a little deep dive into the strategic part of popping off. So as a pop offer, how do you tilt your opponent? How does that affect your opponent? And as the receiver of the popping off, how do you stay calm? How do you actually utilize this and reverse this momentum onto your opponent? I think one of my best skills in Pokemon VGC is like, I do take the competition very seriously. I really try to not get tilted. Maybe I should start like a not tilt coaching. I don't know. How much should I charge? Like 15 euros per hour? And we'll just be listening to like K-pop. We'll just be listening to K-pop, and we're gonna be watching some like tarot reading videos on YouTube, and I will just like chat with you and have like virtual coffee talks. How does that sound? Will anyone book it? I think that could be a fun idea. But anyway, let's get started. So first of all, let's look at my tier list. From top to bottom, we have Call Me By Your Names and I'll Call You By Yours. One of my favorite movie, very romantic, very sublime, very glorious, very victorious. If you're up there, you're at the top of the 2024-2025 pop-off reactions. Next, we have Show Me To Me Rachel. Show Me To Me Rachel. I want to see it again. I want to see it again. Not a joke, just a fact. From Bimini, from UK season 2 of Drag Race. Not a joke, just a fact. Next, we have Let Me Ask the Audience. Let Me Ask the Audience. This is a good pop-off moment. You look like Linda Evangelista from Aja, from RuPaul's Drag Race season 9. Basically saying, you try to give cunt, but I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it, okay? Let's get into the first match. Now, the first moment is when Eden Bachelor in game 1 picked up a KO with a double up with Vacuum Wave and a +0 Shadow Ball. Now, you might think this will never KO, but Bachelor got a little critical hit. So there's a little moment that you can see here that Francesco has a little, I'm going to put it in Let Me Ask the Audience. Kind of like kind of forgettable, but there's something comedic about it, especially when Eden gave no reaction. Next moment, we have Francesco after he won game 2, and the camera pans on him and he said, calm down, because he has so many fans. Even the judge is looking at him very proudly. Turns his hat backwards like Ash Ketchum. I think this is very performative, obviously doing it for the camera. I don't really have any issues against this. I just find it a bit cringe. You kind of look like Linda Evangelista. Again, no fans. This is just for funsies. You've obviously been in the final, so like congratulations, But I just like, I didn't vibe with it. That's it. I don't dislike it. I just don't vibe with it. Next moment, we have Eden's +2 Goldango, KOing the Archaludon with a Shadow Ball. And this is when Eden realized that they have won the Stuttgart Regional. And so they did this little and then cover their mouth. I think it's very cute. Actually genuinely surprised and happy and like trying to contain their happiness. I find it very endearing and cute. I'm gonna put it in not a joke, just a fact, just because something better is coming up. Then we have the moment where Eden actually won the Stuttgart Regional and they are so happy, but they're so like in disbelief. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Call me by your name and I'll call you by yours. I love this moment. I think this will be me when I eventually win the regional. So I will be like this, I think this is what I want to give. And I see myself and Eden. Next, moving on to Gdansk 2025. Top 8, Victor Medina versus Paul Hinta. Now, I picked this match obviously because Paul is my friend and we basically top 4 together. Whenever you're about to miss a move, the text comes out and nothing moves. So this kind of happened to Paul where he really has to land 2 high horsepower in a row to win this game. And the text came out, but the move was not coming out. So he was doing this, almost like he's like, oh my god, no way I missed this, because then he just lose 2-0. And then he connects, and it's like a sigh of relief. I love this. Show me to me, Rachel. Show me to me, Rachel. I love this. A very not like anyone else. I love this. A sigh of relief and celebrating that relief. And the next moment is when Paul's Sneasler just one-hit KOs the Terra Fairy. Max HP, mind you, Volcarona, because our Sneasler was admin because we ran Grassy Seed. And you see Victor having this, oh my god, that KO'd. Paul doing the very subtle head nod. It's actually not that memorable. I'm going to put it in Let Me Ask the Audience. I included because I thought it was funny how Victor reacted. Okay, we're going to move on to the most recent European regional final between Michael and Eric. Now, this was a good final. I think Stockholm's like top cut was amazing to watch. Glad to be there in person and just like experience the whole vibe. Michael's Calyrex eye surviving on 1 HP after the Moon Guy's beam. To me, Michael is one of the most interesting top players because he's just like, he has such a unique brand. He's so memorable and he's so authentic. He celebrates, but he's also like so kind to people, respects all players. I think he's like definitely one of my top 3 players. I'm so happy that he won. So this for me is high up there. Show me to me, Rachel. Show me to me again. I will watch that 1 HP survival again and again and again. The next moment in this match is obviously a game 3 when Michael's Smeargle survived the Grassy Glide. Now, I was sitting in the audience and I didn't thought it would survive. I thought it was over. I thought Grassy Glide into Smeargle KOs and then Ivy Cudgel onto Calyrex eyes. However, we later learned that Michael's Smeargle is a 244 defense EV investment, so I guess it really does matter. Survived on 7 HP and was able to redirect the Ivy Cudgel 2 and winning him the game. So obviously, very well deserved pop off. Very cute, love it. Show me to me, Rachel. Show me to me, Rachel. I'll rewatch that again. I'll rewatch it again. Michael's top 8 match with Adrian, and this is when Michael's Thunderclap lands a critical hit on Kyogre. Now, first, he was like, oh my god, I KO'd. And then he realized it was a critical hit. So he said, ooh, oh, I got so lucky. The emotions change in that. I love to see it. This is also a very nuanced reaction. I love it. There's so much story in that 3 second, the emotional change. I don't know. It's just like so endearing. Show me to me, Rachel. Show me to me, Rachel. Thank you very much. Next. So next up, we have Patrick. We have this, double KO onto Patrick's Mont with the Make It Rain, and Patrick did like kind of like a fun like, ooh, he got me gal, ooh, he got me gal. Very much trying to entertain the audience, very much trying to appear on camera. I find it a bit cringe, unfortunately. Once again, I don't think it's like super genuine. Let me ask the audience. Tell me if you think it's cute. Patrick's Torkoal got hit by Rillaboom's high horsepower and a crit. And he did like, oh, like another performative act. He got me gal again, not my fave. I'm sure Patrick is a lovely guy. I didn't connect with the performance. Let me ask the audience. Andrew just called that the Gallade was going to stay in and not Terra. So Shadow Ball just knocks out Gallade and Patrick is unable to get up Trick Room. This is what I love. Andrew did this like subtle, like, yes. This subtle pop-off. This is one of my favorite pop-offs. Like just It shows emotion, but it's very subtle. It's very respectful. This is the Asian in us, okay? Not a joke, just a fact. Not a joke, just a fact. I think this is golden standard for how you should pop off stream, on stream. Do this. This is like safe. Next up, we have Victor Medina once again versus Neil Dunlop in the 2025 Lille Regional Final. I talked to Victor afterwards and he said his only win con is to freeze them. So he did get very lucky in game one where Blizzard not only connect, understand on both targets, but also freezes the Corviknight Knight for like 3 or 4 turns, giving him the game 1 win. And he was very hyped. And it's warranted. Victor, I always call him like always surprised me because he has like top cut, top 4, top 8, so many events. Hasn't like won anything yet. So this definitely means a lot to him and I know it. So to me, because of how iconic the game also was, I would put this in Show Me To Me Rachel. I think it's like very comical. Next moment is when Neil land a critical hit on Garchomp with the Terra Psychic Expanding Force on Ndidi. I'm not sure if this would have KO'd anyway. But he was obviously like super hyped, super happy, a big pop off. I think this is warranted 100% because of how unlucky he was in game 1 and game 2. Sigh of relief, like, I got you, gal. This is mine. You know, don't take this win away from me. I've put in so much work. I think this pop off is very much warranted. It's very glorious. This is Show Me To Me Rachel. Next one, we have Aurelian Sola, Utrecht. 2024, a very tight game 3. Aurelian had to make back-to-back like really hard reads, and this is the final read that he made, predicting the protect on Ogerpon and just doubling up into Incineroar. What was really special about this is number one, they incorporated this like audience and caster reaction in the stream. I don't think they do it anymore, but you can see the whole French crowd sitting in the seat like cheering for Aurelian. He was like genuinely so happy here. Love to see it. And it's just like a very good place. So I'll put it in Show Me To Me Rachel. Next up, we're moving to Luca at Worlds. It's the match between Luca and Changyo Zhang. I think this was top 8 when Luca landed his Draco Meteor, turn 1, game 2. Actually, he ended up losing this game, so it's quite funny, but he obviously, yes, he got it. What's super amazing is also Changyu's reaction where he's very like, oh, he emotes a lot, which is like really fun to watch. The combination of that, I'll put in not a joke, just a fact. Next up, we have Iron Hand surviving the Dazzling Gleam from the -2 Assault Vest. No electric terrain boost hit Miraidon, and chain with like an anti-pop-off. I love this. I think it's so funny. He was actually in shock. And obviously Luca was very like, yes, Show Me To Me Rachel. Love it. This is one of my favorite moments where Chang'e was praying for dear life and he didn't get it. I don't know, it's like so funny to me. I can't call you by your name and I'll call you by yours. What can I say? It brought so much joy to me. The last 2 screenshot was Luca winning his top 4 and top 8 match. Bent down to the table. Love it. Not a joke, just a fact. He's still processing his feelings and there's still like more stages to go. Taking a breath and like, I'm ready for the next step. I like that. And then this one where he locks in for the final, wins his top 4 match. He's in shock. He cannot believe this happened. All the hard work he has put in. Call me by your name and I'll call you by yours, bitch. Yes. Obviously, all of the clips and videos and images we have saw now are from on-stream matches. So we're going to start by this on-stream psychological behavior part. You know, obviously, when players are on stage, they know people are watching them. There's like 3 cameras in your face, right? So they are being watched, they are being judged, and they are being recorded. This triggers what we call a self-monitoring behavior. It's basically like you're like extra self-aware, how you click your buttons, how you sit, are you hunched, how do you celebrate, all these kind of stuff, right? So some players also, especially maybe if you're more professional, as in like maybe you're more well-known, like you have a career in Pokemon competitive scene already, you want to kind of curate your image, right? You want to be a brand, you want to be a player that people remember. There were 1,400 players in the master divisions of UIC, and if you manage to get on stream, 1 out of 700 chance, right? Like you've earned that. You better use that. Obviously, when you go on stream, it creates this like dilemma of showmanship versus sportsmanship, right? Do you try to bring the utmost stream value, like the entertainment that the audience want to see, or do you try to be a player with sportsmanship, with dignity? I'm not saying people who pop off doesn't deserve people's respect, but do you want to pop off to hype up the event, or do you risk being perceived as arrogant or disrespectful? Obviously, it ties really deeply into like your own personality. But what I think is truly interesting and fascinating is the off-stream pop-offs. I mean, those are the ones where like my friend would come after a round and complain to me like, this guy, you know, he was like doing yada yada yada. He was taunting me, he was explaining to me after the match, he was saying during the match, I shouldn't do this move, or like I should da 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 da. You made such a bad play. That's what's fascinating to me, because I would love a camera just like on every player, and then we would like look at it afterwards, because obviously I have no clips. Obviously, off stream pop-offs, there is less pressure. Nobody's really watching you aside from your opponent, and there is definitely more freedom, right? This definitely, I think, encourages people to truly express their feeling more than when you're on stream. You know, without a crowd or a judge, pop-off definitely feels a bit more personal. Like it's really just for your opponent. I know it's not for the audience. I know it's not for the camera. It's like for me. You cannot tell me, oh, this is just for me, when I'm like sitting like 2 centimeters away from you. How, as a community, we teach ourselves how to act in a way that doesn't affect your opponent too much. Not too much. Everyone has to express their emotion, but I feel like there comes a point, there comes a line where you're just like doing too much, and I don't think we should encourage that behavior. If you want to be treated nicely, I think you should start by treating people nicely. For example, some players yell, some people hunt people because, you know, there are no cameras to like capture their devious action, and they don't have to be afraid of getting dragged on Twitter. Although that's not true, because one thing that I know Pokemon VGC competitive player would do is be petty on Twitter. So like, I love those Twitter drama. I'm like, give it to me, please. There is this term called moral disengagement, and it's basically like when you do something that you think is kind of wrong, but you frame it, you justify your actions to be morally correct, you know, minimizing its like ethical implication. So yeah, popping off, I'm just like expressing how happy I am. Like, why can I not express how happy I am? Yes, correct, you're right, ma'am. How are we a community if you completely neglect how the other person feels? That's not a community. There's so many ways to celebrate success. You're gonna earn thousands of dollars. You're gonna earn so many booster packs. You're gonna earn all your friends sharing. You can rewatch your stream thousands of times. You top cut, you day two. Since you have won, or since you have like done that, you have did it, you ate. You can cherish those moments later. You don't have to do it there. I do like some drama on stream, right? But I feel like off stream pop-offs to me is just a bit like, I don't know, to me a little bit icky. That's my own opinion. And I know this video gonna be a little bit controversial, and I know some alpha male gonna come for me. Hopefully they don't find this video. But I just feel like in the context of Pokemon VGC and TCG also, and Go probably, because it's so intimate, it's so one-on-one. Like, we're a big family, sometimes you play your friend. Completely different from like group matches. It's completely different from other competition, and I think it's something that we as a community can grow together and be more considerate. Just be more considerate. It's not that difficult. And I swear, this is why I feel like I'm a lucky girl in competitions, because I have collected so many good karmas. I really have. And obviously I know people are like, if you're a better player, you find yourself in less situation where you have to be lucky. But it's nice to be lucky. Cute lucky girl syndrome. I listened to that song before I go into that match, because I'm like, I know I'm a good player, but I can get extra lucky. I can get extra wins. So is there a way, you know, to use this to our advantage actually? As in, if you're the pop offer, how does it actually affect your opponent? And if you're the recipient of popping off, which is what I am mostly going to focus on, how do you navigate that? How do you actually reverse that momentum and use it upon your opponent? On the side of the pop offer, is there like actually a word for them? Pop puffer. Pop puffer. Sounds like poppers. For the side of pop offers, first of all, the advantage you get, obviously, you know, these like positive feedbacks to yourself, like loops in competitive play, you know, like you are building your own confidence, you're giving yourself more momentum into the next move. You're basically telling yourself, I've locked in, I ate, and I'm gonna eat like a piggy, you know. So like your next move is gonna be like even better and better and better. Secondly, there's this thing called anchoring effect, which basically like, if a player sees their opponent so confident and celebrating, they might think like the game is like slipping away already, which makes their play of less quality. And then there's also framing effect, which is kind of similar to anchoring effect, but basically a pop-up can make your opponent feel like they're in a losing position, and then they change their mindset or they change their play style. If you actually use this tactically, shame on you. I don't think you should use this tactically. If you actually want to celebrate and if you actually cannot contain your excitement, go ahead, babe. But not really cute to do this actively. Now, this is where it's important. How do you counter this? How do you counter this behavior? How do you, as someone who is receiving the pop-offs, how do you shut them down and stay focused? Obviously, clear and straightforward. Breathe and reset focus. Deep breathing lowers your stress. Reframe the pop-off also. I really like this idea. When something like stresses me out or like this idea stresses me out, I think of them as a win. A breeze of wind, they're gonna come through my mind and I'm gonna let them go. You don't dwell on it. You don't try to wipe it out. You just let it go, right? How do you reframe this pop-off? Instead of feeling like fragile or tilted or whatever, view it as an overconfidence of your opponent, make them regret it. There's also this other really interesting theory called attention control theory. And it basically says that anxiety and frustration increase cognitive load. So learning to really refocus quickly can actually give you an edge. Like it actually gives you a little boost. What's also super interesting is that once someone pop-offs, they're probably thinking they're in a winning position. So they're gonna most likely start making the safest play because they have such big of an advantage. If they consistently make safe plays, they're most likely to win. So in this position, you really want to take those risky reads. You want to collect your emotions. You want to predict under that specific emotion, how would they act? So make your reads, make those hard reads, because if you're going to play safe, you're going to lose at the end. That's something I've done before, and I've like really taken advantage of that, winning like unwinnable matchups, getting a double protect, basically playing into a position where like if I get a double protect, I will win. We've basically touched upon the psychological part and how you can use this as your advantage. Let's just move to the final verdict. Are we allowed to pop off? Under what context? With what intention? I think pop-offs are powerful. I think it's like an essential part of esport. It's just like a reflection of your emotion. If it's really like, oh my god, I won, then it's okay. We're allowed to feel feels, but context really matters. Context including your intention of doing the act. Are you doing it to taunt people, to like tell people off? No. Shame on you, shame on you, shame. Obviously the nuance of, are you on stream, are you off stream, who are you playing against? These are all factors that really affects your decision. I would say pop off is fine. I would encourage you to not pop off if you don't have to. Do give me a little good pop off on stream, because I do like some drama. Either really authentic or give me a little fun, give me a little cutesy moves, give me like an unexpected reaction. That's what I like to see. And off stream, just like keep it to yourself. Honestly, keep it to yourself. I don't need it. And I feel like as a community, we would just have a better experience playing. Everybody will be happier. Whenever I lose to someone that's like really kind, I feel much better than someone who treats me badly. So if we're really a community, and if you really truly care about the community, do better, okay? Learn some social cues. Be a better person. Collect those nice karma and be a lucky girl. In your next tournament, maybe you would be the one who crits people and not get crit. Maybe you would be the one who dodged the icy win and not the other person. Maybe you would be the one who makes a great hard read rather than being hard read. That's all. That's all I have to say. Please drop your anecdotes. Drop your most favorable, memorable pop-up moments that I haven't included here. I would love to see them. And that's that. Tschüss. Ciao. Adios. Dui.